Welcome to the show, viewers at home. My name is Angel Kukumzangwa and I'm your host for today. Of course, I'm not going alone. I'm going with my guest presenter.
My name is John Junamzak and thank you for inviting me in the show today. And I'm your guest for today.
Today we're talking about a very sensitive issue and a very serious issue, which is gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is directed to any gender or sex, which include physical, sexual, verbal, and psychological abuse.
It affects perpetrators, victims, and everyone in the society.
Okay, Gina, as we've been talking, you've been our guest. You told us that you were once a life coach. So tell us, what types of abuse did learners from the school that you were a life coach at come to you about?
Well, that's a big question with various answers. So a lot of kids came to me as I was a life coach in Sepia. They came to me with many types of abuses. Some are abused by parents verbally, some financially, some physically by the uncles and everything. It was a very difficult and sensitive issue that I was always facing during the day. So yeah, those are the types.
Okay, as Vele we've said from the beginning, it varies from each other. But what advice did you give those learners as they come to you and say maybe at home there's a domestic violence going on, or maybe an uncle or even a stranger maybe molested them or even sexually abused them? What advice or what steps did you take for them to get help?
Well, that is one thing as a life coach. As a life coach, we don't give advice. We're not counselors. We're not school counselors, but we are life coaches. So one thing that I use, a method that I was using, is asking questions. So when a kid come to me in my office and tell me, Witty, I'm abused this way and this way and this way by my parents or by my uncle, by a friend, or by a teacher verbally, I don't give advice, because some other days you're gonna give advice and a kid next time comes to you or go to the police station after an issue happened and say, my life coach gave me this advice. So we don't give advice, but we lead you, we direct you, we ask questions of which you're gonna reach to your own consensus. You're gonna reach to your own solution on what can I do basically. And I'm leading you there, I'm gonna guide you in everything. So sometimes it's very difficult because a kid can come inside and tell you an issue that you see now, Witty, this can never be fixed. Like, what can you do when basically if a kid comes to you and tell you, Witty, I'm abused by a family friend who provides financially and my father is not there, what would you do? So those are the kind of things that we can't handle. But if an issue is bigger, then I have to refer them to someone who is like more advanced than me.
So do you think our educational system, actually more especially our teachers, are they educated enough for them to be able to help learners, who are going through different things at home, like abuse, like domestic violence, or being even sexually abused, or even verbally abused or emotional?
Well, as for teachers, well, for me, I also think and believe that because they also come and tell me the teachers are also the source. So for me, the teachers are not the better solution for those kids to go to, because one day you tell a teacher your problem, another day another teacher comes to you knowing your problem, saying, yo, you know what, at home I know they told me it's like this and this. So for me it depresses, for me it makes me to have like suicidal thoughts. You know what, everybody knows my problem now, so everybody's gonna look at me this way and this way. So for me, teachers are not a solution. Even LO teachers, some of them are fine, but some of them are not. But I prefer that let there be like counselors inside the schools to help the kids here.
There you have it, guys. Our life coach has said it all to say, as an educational system, we need to have counselors at school. So does at the clinics and hospitals, they do have people who deal with different issues such as gender-based violence. So even our school really needs counselors or even social workers just to be assigned in each and every school, so that each and every learner can be able to get help. Guys, please stay tuned. We're taking an ad break.
Polish your heart with the best love herbs. Sit down with a partner and cherish the absence of violence. Respect
different issues, gender-based violence, depression, and all places. Welcome from the ad break, guys. In studio we have a very important member of the community, a father, a son, a sibling. So please introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you. Good evening or good morning to the viewers. My name is Floyd Ngoni, based in Tembisa. Was born right here. I'm very much pleased to be within the show. Thank you.
As I've said earlier before, that gender-based violence, it is any violence that is directed to anyone or any gender. We all know that even men themselves go through violence at home, or even physical or emotional. So Floyd, you know that our men and our society has made it a norm not to report these cases, as these cases, they do exist. What advice do you give to those men who are going through abuse or any violence at home?
Okay, I think that's a very important question, and I'm very very pleased to be asked such question, because I think as men we are having this problem where we buckle up every problem, especially when we're talking about this GB violence. They tend up to not talk because I think they have been threatened, they have been so much that which they have been promised after they report that. So I think we've got several places where you, as a man, you have to go. It doesn't have to be a police station, but we have several places which are there, which people are trained to go there and maybe report such problem if you come across.
That's very nice. Thank you so much for having a man that we can ask in the show. And I only have 2 questions for you for today. Since you have worked in the school, what can you say to me, like as an advice, maybe as a student, I'm coming to you and my teacher is abusing me as a man, and I cannot tell anyone or I cannot tell any teacher. What can you give a student advice? What can you say?
Okay, yeah, another thing, not only that I've worked in school, but I was a member also in a community policing forum, that's a group where people, they tend to undermine in some instances, which is, we were trained. And then we're also having a group which was started, it was 2018, which we were trained that how we should work with especially people which were abused coming from the gender-based violence. I would advise you that first, obviously, we are having teachers there. There's some teachers, not all of them, as you said earlier in the show, that they're not properly trained and they don't know what to do. But you can also come to me as a member of a community policing forum, which I can refer you to the relevant place, where we've got our own social worker there, which were people and several NPOs, which were trained to give you advice, or to give you another solution to what's your problem.
That's very good. I love that so much. One last question I have that is in my heart. I have a lot of people coming to me, like men, real men, telling me as a young student that they are being abused financially by their wives. Going to work every day. At the end of the month, the wife take the card and spend the whole money. What advice can you give that man, Uti, that is abused like financially?
Yeah, what I can say based on that is that that's where the critical of this gender-based violence starts. Because as a man, we've got this scenario that a man is treated like a head of the house.
True.
Not knowing that also we are being a victim of gender-based violence. That's where you gotta seek help. You gotta go out there. Don't sit with that problem. Go out there and ask those questions if maybe you come across that problem at home, or if you are owning a house or you're having your own family. Go outside there and ask: is it good for me to go and seek help, or should I go to the social workers? Then they will give you those advices. Because once you sit and say, no, I'm being victimized in such a way, then I'll take the law in my own hands. That's where you go now. So it's better if you go and seek help, then they'll send you to the relevant place.
Thank you so much. I hope everybody at home have learned something, because I myself now know that when I'm abused financially, I have to go to certain people who can help me in a certain way. That's very good. I'm going to leave the platform to Sister Angel, to ask you questions. For me, thank you so much.
Okay, as you've mentioned that there is financial abuse and there is also emotional abuse. And we all know that, for a man to speak out, it's very much difficult. It's extremely difficult, more especially if a man is assigned to go to a woman's social worker. How do you make men to just go and just speak up into like speaking with a woman. How do you even advise them on going on board about that?
Wow, what a question. What I can say, I think it's not only women which were trained to that. I think they should also involve or train more men.
Yes.
That can also come and talk to directly to the men, because as men we feel very below the value to come and approach a lady and talk about certain things, because as men we've got our own capabilities.
Yes.
Which we must exert on a woman, but only to find that it's not easy. It's very difficult, because then, for example, let me say I don't have any information where to go. First place that I would think of is police station.
Yeah.
I run there, and then there's a help desk there, and
Yes.
most of the time it's a man and a woman. If you feel that you are not covered enough, but to explain everything to a lady, just ask for a relevant person there which can direct you to the men exist. That's where you're gonna try to explain your story, and tell them directly that you are not at yourself to talk to a woman. You want a man, because I think that's where the problem starts. Because that's where people start to bargain instead of going there and reporting to the police station, because they will charge you. Hey, you're a man. Why do you have to come to a police station? Take to their own the law into your own hands, which is it's wrong. So I think they have to make sure that they cover by both aspects by inviting the man and the woman.
Yeah, there you have it, viewers. And also another thing that has been on my mind for a very long time. Not only we have to go seek help from society and police and whoever is assigned to help those who are going through GBV, but there's this thing I wanna ask you. What do you as a man say about all of this? Maybe you see your fellow brother is doing, beating a woman, or is also being beaten, or whatever. Like, how do you even start that conversation with the man to say, you know what, friend, you going through this, or this and this and this, giving them the signs. How do you even start the conversation when you're speaking man to man?
Okay, first and foremost, again, I will say, this thing of beating women, it's a serious crime. Not only in our society, but
Yes.
the whole of the world.
Country.
And what I will say is that all true men out there, it starts there, because we also men, we do talk. We have our own groups there. I mean, giving advices as men, I think that's where it should start. Being a friend to someone which you know that person is very, very, very secretive. I think it's best if you just advise one another before you can go and seek advices there. You understand? Try to give as many information as you are within you before you can go outside there and start to ask for advices. You understand? Then that's where the real scenario behind the scenes is going to come out. Because once you quiet, remember this thing, it grows inside. You understand? And then you grow with it, and then after you're gonna push it to your children, which is very, very, very dangerous to our society. Yes.
Which also brings me to, before we close, which also brings me to the causes of gender-based violence. I always believe that there is a reason behind gender-based violence. And also another reason based on my opinion, is that even those perpetrators who are doing those actions, they were maybe once abused, or they've went through being abused. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think what you are saying is very, very, very amusing, because if you can look, there's a difference. If I was raised within the family which is dysfunctional,
Yes.
that thing I would grow with it, and guess what? I would take it out as well. I would take it out on my children or on my friends, because now remember, I didn't have that platform where I would express myself, but instead I kept it inside me. So what I would say is that once you see or you hear someone that is a victim of gender-based violence, I think you should give that person a better advice. Maybe let's go out there, take her to the social workers, do something that will pull that person out of that situation. Because once you leave that person to grow up with that problem, then you also self, which means you are donating to what he has. You understand? Which is going to come back as maybe it's a bigger problem than what we have.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the best solution is just to help out and then try to give him the better solution and show him the better place which he can help.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Floyd, you just got my attention there when you say whenever like a child is born in a place where it's dysfunctional, you know, you grow up with that anger as well, that your parents are doing it, you grow up with that thing. And I also saw like a lot of people grow up with this thing with the, if a man beats me, it's my love language that a man is fixing me, you know. But we don't understand that this is GPV. It's something that is gonna grow, and one day, you know what? And now it's gonna lead to like murder. You know, some other people don't know what one puzzle can lead to the other, to the other, to the other, and it builds like a bigger puzzle. And that is very, very sensitive to me. You know, it hit when you say they're sitting there saying someone can grow with that thing. So yeah, that's what, and we need like bigger advisors, bigger people out there. We need more officers in every school. We need officers in every police station. You know what? Talking to the cops sometimes it doesn't help because we have pride ourselves as men.
Yes.
You know, but yeah, that is very nice. Thank you.
There you have it, viewers. Before we close, in closing, Mr. Floyd, what advice would you just give it to a man who's going through you know, domestic violence or gender-based violence? What advice would you give to any woman who is a victim? What advice would you give to our police system, our education system, and our society as a whole? Since, you know, when a man comes out or when a woman also comes out, we tend to laugh at their backs. We tend to do that. So in closing, just what advice would you just give to everyone?
Okay. Yeah, thank you once again. I really, really appreciate this kind of topic. Remember, this is not about me or maybe you, but it's about the society out there. As I said, that talking or speaking up, you know, be involved in different groups. That's where you're gonna get guidance. And then to the upper structures, as brother Napa said, they need to do more than to go into the police station and report to the police. Some matters, they'll tell you them straight. Like for example, we've got a community policing forum. That structure was there because it's a bridge between police and the community. You understand? And then that's where you'll find yourself at ease to talk about it. Remember, someone is not feeling at ease to talk to the police. You know, hence the perpetrator or maybe the victim can threaten him and say, maybe if you go and report to the police station, then I'll do that. Remember now, that's not a solution. What is wanted is a solution. We want a solution. How can we overcome this problem as a country? Because if you can look now, the state says we've got higher gender-based violence now. You understand? So I think to the brother out there or sister out there, stand up, talk, seek advice, and get yourself in different groups.
True.
That's where I'm gonna end there.
Junior, in closing, what would you like to say?
In closing, I think the brother has covered it all. I don't know what to say more, but for me, as for telling the students, you know what, talking helps. You know, you can also talk, and you know, it helps to uplift that thing in your spirit. You know, it helps to, you know, minus that bottle that you have been bottling up, you know. And yeah, in closing, I can say that yeah, we need to speak. We need more officers. We need more advisors. We need to see more adverts on TV about GPV. We need to hear it more on the radios. I think that's how we can reach to people about GPV and everything. Yes.
Okay, there you have it, viewers. In closing, for me, it has to start within yourself.
True.
It has to start within yourself. You have to say, I have a problem, I need help, before anyone else can help you. Secondly, immediately when it has started within yourself, you need to go around, like on your loved ones, before you can even go to a community. Work around with your loved ones. Then lastly, you can now implement an action plan to just spread it around the society. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, The Voice and Solution. Like our Facebook page, The Voice and Solution. And please guys, don't forget to like our videos.